guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Stacy. This is going to be a redo of a video I just filmed and deleted by accident. I was trying to move it from my phone onto the computer and I honestly don't know what I did, but I deleted it. And so I'm gonna redo it because the day is beautiful and I'm sitting outside and I'm enjoying the weather, so it's fine. It's all fine. Anyway, this is going to be a tag video. I don't think I've done one too recently, and I wasn't sure what else I felt like filming today. So here we are. I'm gonna do the book recommendations tag. I think this has some really great questions. I've seen a lot of my friends do this tag, and I really loved watching all their answers, and I wanted to give mine. And I want to apologize if you can hear loud booms in the background. I live near Quantico Marine Base, and they like to blow up things a lot, blow up artillery. They were not doing this the first time I filmed, but here we are. So the first question is a book that you tell people is your favorite. I have a few for that. The first one is The Hound of the Baskervilles because Sherlock Holmes books are my favorite, and that one is my favorite of the Sherlock Holmes stories. Absolutely love it. The next one is The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. And the third one is kind of related to that, and that is This Present Darkness by Frank E. Peretti. I think the idea of demons kind of living amongst us and having influence over our lives is just really fascinating, and I think Screwtape Letters and This Present Darkness do an excellent job of talking about that. So yeah, those books are great. Question 2 is a book that is your guilty pleasure. I don't think I have a specific book for that one, but I would say probably Sherlock Holmes stories are a guilty pleasure because you're not really getting much out of those, like you would if you read Christian fiction and you got, a faith element or something like that. They're just an enjoyable read. My ducks are quacking. I'm sorry. This is going to be a hot mess. Number 3 is a book everyone loved but you didn't. And I don't like this question, but I'm going to answer it. But that book is The Souls of Lost Lake by Jamie Jo Wright. I just really did not like that book at all. But I definitely think I'm in the minority with that one. I have heard a few other people say that they weren't a fan of it either. But yeah, did not like that book. Number 4 is a book that you read the fastest, and that is actually a book I just read this weekend, which was wild because I had just posted that video about how badly I'm struggling with reading, and then I read an entire book in less than 24 hours. Like, what? Those booms are so loud. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I have been implementing a bunch of you guys's recommendations, your tips on how to make reading easier, and they really do work. So thank you guys for all of those great suggestions that you made on my reading video. One specifically that has been working so well is scheduling a time for reading. Having reading as part of like the plan for the day has been so helpful because I'm able to sit down during that time period and read and not feel guilty because I'm doing what I was planning on doing, because I'm doing what is on the schedule. So that made a huge difference. But yeah, I read, oh, I didn't say what the book was. The book was The Lost Letter by Mimi Matthews. It was probably on the shorter end, maybe around 300 pages, but it was historical romance, and I really enjoyed it. It was just a quick, fun, easy read that I managed to get done in less than 24 hours, and that is impossible for me, so it was kind of shocking that I did that. Number 5 is a book that deserves more hype, and I am going with Soon by Jerry B. Jenkins. His Left Behind series gets a ton of hype. Everybody knows that series and has read that series. But I really haven't heard anybody talking about the Soon books. There's 3 books in that series. They are also dystopian books, but it's a very different storyline from the Left Behind books. And I think I enjoyed the Soon books more than the Left Behind books, probably character-wise at least. Yeah, they are really good, and I really recommend those. Number 6 is a book that is becoming a movie or TV show, and I don't have an answer for this one. I'm just not very up on those sorts of things, although I am trying to watch more faith-based shows and movies, but I'm really just beginning to get into all of that, so I don't know what's going on in that world. Number 7 is a book that you have reread the most, and that is probably Dracula. I am not a big rereader. There's probably less than 5 books total that I have reread in my whole life. Dracula, I've probably read 3 or 4 times, which is a really big deal because I just don't reread books. But I love that book and it never gets old. Number 8 is a book from a genre you don't typically read, and that is Project Hail Mary. I don't normally read science fiction, and this book was definitely sci-fi. It's set in space, has lots of science in it. Not really my thing, but I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. It was phenomenal. Number 9 is a book that deserves all the hype it gets, and that is A Voice in the Wind by Francine Rivers. That book is amazing. It is so full of faith. It really helped me to learn what being a Christian looks like, the actions that people take as a Christian, not just, it goes well beyond praying, fellowship, worshiping, that sort of thing. It goes into the actual daily life actions, and it helped me tremendously to understand what that means. I read it when I was a baby Christian, and it just made a huge difference in my Christian walk. So yeah, that book definitely deserves all the hype it gets. Number 10 is a book you recommend when asked to give a recommendation, and I am going with The Tomb or the Well by Stephanie Lansom. Stephanie Lansom in general, although her books can be tough, they're pretty tough. She really hits hard with her stories. She really goes deep into really tough situations and rips your heart out, but puts everything back together. There's so much faith in those books, and you learn so much. I just can't get enough of Stephanie Lansom's books. Number 11 is a book that has your favorite characters, and that is a book that I just recently read, and that is The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. Some of the best characters out there. They were so lovable, so funny, so sweet, so endearing. I just fell in love with them, so definitely that book. Number 12 is a book you wish you could live in. That is going to be The Skin Map by Stephen Lawhead. That book has to do with time travel, interdimension kind of travel, and one of the characters goes back to 15th century Prague, and she starts a business in that time period with knowledge of things that she has from this period, and the kind of invention thing that she comes up with takes off, and I think that would be so fun. I would love to go to 15th century Prague, but I would also love to go with the knowledge that I have now and do the same thing that she did. I don't want to say what it is because I don't want to give away any spoilers, but that definitely would be a world I would really enjoy. 13 is a book you thought you'd hate but ended up loving. For this one, it is Premonition at Withers Farm by Jamie Jo Wright. I read this right after I read Souls of Lost Lake, and because of my experience with that book, I thought I probably wasn't going to like this one, but I really did like it. It was really good. It definitely made up for my feelings on the Souls of Lost Lake, and I will continue reading books by her. So yeah, I like that one a lot. Number 14 is a book that made you cry, and that's really easy to do. I am a very big crier. I cry in a lot of books, a lot of movies, a lot of situations. I cry all the time. But for that one, I'm going to say Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. This one really ripped my heart out. This one just devastated me, wrecked me on all the levels. It was just heartbreaking. So I cried a lot in this book. Probably every chapter I was crying in this book. Definitely read this one with a box of tissues. And the last question is a book that you wish you could reread for the first time. For that, I'm going to say The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Again, another book I just read. Thank you, Holly, for suggesting we read these together. What an experience. I had read this one a few years ago and loved it, and rereading it now as a Christian was kind of like reading it for the first time because I have a whole new perspective on things now. I understand it in a very different way than I got it the first time I read it when I was not a Christian. What an experience. Absolutely loved it. And I would love to re-experience this again because it was amazing. Again, I cried like a baby in this book. Definitely sobbed. So yeah, those are all of my answers for the book recommendations tag. If you guys have any thoughts on any of the books that I mentioned here, leave those down below. I'd love to know if you love these books too, if you hated them, whatever. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.